You are addicted to streaks. You look at your phone. You see the little fire icon on your language app. It says 50 days. You feel proud. You look at your gym log. You haven't missed a Monday in 3 months. You feel strong. You look at your diet. You have eaten clean for 20 days straight. You feel virtuous. But I am here to tell you that this pride is a trap. Because streaks are fragile. Streaks are made of glass. And when glass breaks, it doesn't just crack, it shatters. We have all been there. You are on a perfect diet. Then, you go to a birthday party. You have a slice of cake. The streak is broken. The glass shatters. And what do? Do you say, "That was a nice piece of cake, I will get back on track tomorrow"? No. You say, "Well, I ruined the streak. I messed up. I might as well eat the rest of the cake, and order a pizza for dinner, and skip the gym tomorrow." This is the all-or-nothing mentality. It is the belief that if you cannot be perfect, you should not be anything at all. It is the belief that a 99% score is the same as a 0% score. This mindset is not discipline. It is fragility. And this book is about destroying that fragility. The problem with perfection. Real life is not a straight line. Real life is chaos. Your child will get sick. Your car will break down. You will have a deadline at work that forces you to stay late. You will get the flu. If your consistency depends on everything going perfectly, you are doomed to fail. Perfectionism is a form of procrastination. It gives you an excuse to quit the moment things get hard. It allows you to say, "I tried, but life got in the way." We need to redefine what winning looks like. Winning is not a perfect streak of 365 days. Winning is failing 50 times and recovering 50 times. The what the hell effect psychologists have a name for this. It is literally called the what the hell effect. Researchers studied dieters. They gave them a milkshake. The dieters thought, "I broke my diet." Then, the researchers offered them cookies. The dieters who had the milkshake ate more cookies than the people who weren't on a diet at all. They thought, "What the hell? I already ruined it. I might as well go all in." This is how a single missed workout turns into a month on the couch. This is how a single impulse purchase turns into a mountain of debt. You are not fighting the mistake. You are fighting the reaction to the mistake. The solution: anti-fragility. We are going to build a system that is anti-fragile. An anti-fragile system does not break when it is stressed. It bends. It adapts. We are going to stop counting streaks. Instead, we are going to count recoveries. I want you to imagine a tennis match. Even the best player in the world misses the ball. They hit it into the net. Do they throw their racket down and walk off the court? Do they say, "I ruined my perfect game"? No. They reset. They get ready for the next serve. The point is lost, but the game continues. Your life is the game. Yesterday, you missed the gym. You lost the point. Today, the ball is coming over the net again. Are you going to hit it? Or are you going to sulk about yesterday? The new standard. Here is the core philosophy of this book. Perfection is impossible. Consistency is resilient. A consistent person is not someone who never falls. A consistent person is someone who reduces the lag time between the fall and the recovery. If you fall off the wagon, how long does it take you to get back on? For the amateur, it takes a month. I'll start again on January 1st. For the pro, it takes one meal. I ate a burger for lunch. I'll eat a salad for dinner. We are going to train you to be a pro. We are going to train you to have a short memory for failure. Why never miss twice? James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, popularized this concept. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new habit. Let's look at the math. If you work out 3 times a week for a year, that is 156 workouts. If you miss one workout every single month, but you never miss 2 in a row, you still complete 144 workouts. You are still in the top 1% of fitness. Your body does not know the difference between 156 and 144. It just knows you showed up consistently. But if you miss one workout, get discouraged, and quit for 3 weeks, now you have missed 9 workouts. Then you do it again 2 months later. By the end of the year, you have only done 70 workouts, and you feel like a failure. The difference between the person with the dream body and the person who quits is not willpower. It is the rule. Never miss twice. The cost of the spiral. Let's talk about real life. You are saving money. You have a budget. Then, your car breaks down. It costs $500. You didn't plan for this. You feel frustrated. You think, well, the budget is blown. So, on the way home, you stop at the mall. You buy a pair of shoes for $150. You order takeout for $50. You subscribe to a new streaming service. The car repair, $500, was unavoidable. That was the first miss. The shoes, the takeout, and the subscription, $250, were the second miss. The first miss hurt your wallet. The second miss hurt your identity. Every time you let a slip turn into a slide, you are voting for the identity of a quitter. You are teaching your brain that when things get hard, you fold. The action plan for Chapter 1. We need to stop the bleeding. I want you to look at your life right now. Where have you fallen off? Is it your diet, your writing, your sales calls, your relationship? You are waiting for the perfect time to restart. You are waiting for a Monday. You are waiting for the first of the month. Stop it. Audiobook narrator, cue, lean in, make it personal, urgent. There is no perfect time. There is only now. The streak is dead. Long live the consistency. Step 1. Acknowledge the break. Say it out loud. I missed yesterday. I ate the cake. I didn't make the calls. Own it. Do not make excuses. Do not blame the traffic. I missed. Step 2. Forgive the break. This is crucial. Shame is a heavy backpack. You cannot run fast while carrying shame. You missed. It happens. You are human. Forgive yourself instantly. Step 3. Execute the next rep. Not tomorrow, today. If you missed the morning workout, do 20 push-ups right now. If you ate a bad lunch, drink a liter of water right now. If you missed your reading, read 1 page right now. You need to break the momentum of failure. Newton's first law. An object in motion stays in motion. Right now, you are moving toward laziness. You need to apply a force to stop it. The next rep is that force, the promise. This book is not going to tell you how to be perfect. I am going to teach you how to be messy, chaotic, and flawed, and still win. I am going to teach you how to navigate the messy middle. We are going to talk about the psychology of self-sabotage. We are going to talk about how to design your house so failure is difficult. We are going to talk about how to handle the weekends. But it all starts here, with one simple agreement. Raise your right hand. Do it. I'm serious. Repeat after me. I will slip. I will fall. I will fail. But I will never miss twice. You are no longer a person who tries to keep a streak alive. You are a person who refuses to stay down. The streak is dead. The protocol has begun. In the next chapter, we are going to look under the hood of your brain. We are going to explain why you spiral out of control. We are going to discuss the anatomy of a slip and why your brain tries to trick you into quitting just to save energy. Get up. Dust yourself off. Let's go. Chapter 2. The Anatomy of a Slip. The psychology behind the what the hell effect. Let's go back to the scene of the crime. It is Tuesday night. You had a stressful day at work. You promised yourself you would stick to your diet. You promised yourself no sugar. But you walk into the kitchen. There is a bag of cookies on the counter. You resist for a moment. Then, your willpower snaps. You eat one cookie. In that exact second, a chemical switch flips in your brain. You don't just enjoy the cookie. You feel a wave of something else. Defeat. You think, well, I blew it. The day is ruined. And then, the dangerous thought arrives. Since I already ruined it, what the hell? You eat a second cookie, then a third. Then you finish the bag. Then you order takeout. Then you decide to skip the gym tomorrow morning because you feel bloated and guilty. One cookie, which is maybe 100 calories, just turned into a 2,000-calorie binge and a missed workout. Why do we do this? Why does a small mistake trigger a total collapse? Why do we treat a flat tire like a signal to slash the other 3 tires? This is Chapter 2. We are going to dissect the anatomy of a slip. We are going to look at the wiring in your brain that turns a stumble into a fall. The science of counter-regulation. Psychologists Janet Polivy and C. Peter Herman discovered this phenomenon. They called it the what the hell effect. In scientific terms, it is called counter-regulatory eating, but it applies to everything: spending, working, drinking, and habits. Here is how it works. When you set a strict goal, like a diet, you create a boundary in your mind. I will not cross this line. You rely on self-control to stay behind the line. The moment you cross the line, even by an inch, your brain registers a goal violation. Your brain says, the goal is failed, the boundary is broken. And because the brain hates ambiguity, it decides that the goal is no longer active for the day. It abandons all restraint. It's like a dam breaking. As long as the dam holds, the water is controlled. But the moment a small crack appears, the dam doesn't just leak a little. It bursts. Your brain thinks, if I can't be perfect, I might as well enjoy the chaos. The role of guilt. You think you keep eating the cookies because they taste good. That is incorrect. The first cookie tasted good. The 10th cookie tastes like shame. You are not binging for pleasure. You are binging to numb the guilt. When you slip, you feel bad about yourself. You feel like a failure. That feeling is painful. And what is the fastest way to soothe pain? Dopamine. And where is the dopamine? In the cookies, or the shopping spree, or the scrolling. You are using the bad habit to cure the bad feelings caused by the bad habit. It is a loop, a spiral. I feel bad because I ate, so I eat because I feel bad. Listen to me closely. Guilt is not a fuel for change. Guilt is a fuel for relapse. If beating yourself up worked, you would be perfect by now. Shame shuts down the logic center of your brain. It forces you into impulsive behavior. To stop the spiral, you must stop the shame. The phone screen analogy. I want you to visualize your smartphone. Imagine you drop it on the sidewalk. You pick it up. There is a small crack in the corner of the screen. It's annoying. It's not perfect anymore. Now imagine if your reaction was, well, the screen is cracked, it's ruined, what the hell? And you take the phone and smash it on the ground until it is shattered into a million pieces. Then you take a hammer and destroy the battery. You would never do that. That is insanity. A cracked screen is usable. A shattered phone is garbage. Yet, this is exactly what you do with your life. A missed workout is a crack in the screen. Quitting for the month is smashing the phone. A cookie is a crack in the screen. Eating the whole box is smashing the phone. The protocol of never miss twice is simply the decision to protect the phone. Okay, I cracked it. I won't smash it. You pick it up. You wipe it off. You keep using it. The trap of moral licensing. There's another trick your brain plays on you. It is called moral licensing. This happens before the slip. Your brain keeps a ledger of good and bad. When you do something good, like going to the gym for a week, your brain feels like it has earned credit. It says, I was so good this week. I deserve a treat. You use your past good behavior to justify your current bad behavior. I saved money on groceries so I can buy this expensive jacket. I ran 5 miles so I can eat this pizza. The problem is that this cancels out your progress. You are taking one step forward and one step back. You are walking in place. You need to stop viewing healthy habits as work that you need to be paid for. Being healthy is the reward. Being wealthy is the reward. You don't need a cookie to pay you for not eating cookies. That makes no sense. The identity conflict. The deepest reason we spiral is a conflict of identity. When you start a new habit, you are trying on a new identity. I am a runner. I am a writer. When you slip, your old identity, the slacker, the quitter, wakes up. It whispers to you, see? I told you. This isn't you. You aren't a runner. You're a fraud. You're just a lazy person pretending to work hard. When you believe that voice, you give up. You surrender to the old identity because it feels comfortable. It feels true. I guess I'll just go back to being me. You must realize that the slip is not a reveal of your true self. It is just a mistake. You are not a failure. You are a person who failed once. There is a massive difference. The action plan for Chapter 2. We need to install a circuit breaker. We need a way to stop the what the hell effect before it destroys the dam. Step 1. Label the thought. When you slip, when you eat the cookie or miss the call, listen for the phrase, what the hell? Catch it. Say out loud, this is the what the hell effect. By naming it, you move activity from your emotional brain to your logical brain. You strip the thought of its power. Step 2. The clean slate policy. Most people wait for the next day to reset. I'll start fresh in the morning. No. That gives you 6 more hours to destroy yourself tonight. The reset happens now. The moment you put the cookie down, the slate is clean. The very next bite can be healthy. The very next minute can be productive. You don't need to wait for Monday. Monday is a fantasy. Your next decision is the only one that matters. Step 3. Zoom out. Look at your consistency as a percentage. If you eat 3 meals a day, that is 21 meals a week. If you eat 1 bad meal, you are still 95% compliant. 95% is an A in any school in the world. Why are you failing yourself for getting an A? Look at the data, not the drama. One slip is a blip on the radar. It is statistically insignificant, unless you let it become a spiral. The narrator's challenge. Here is your assignment for today. I want you to intentionally make a small mistake. Yes, you heard me. Leave a dish in the sink. Eat 1 square of chocolate. Stop your workout 1 minute early. Then, watch your brain. Watch it try to say, well, you messed up. And then, deny it. Wash the dish immediately after. Put the chocolate away. Finish the minute. Practice the immediate recovery. Train your brain to see a slip as a signal to correct, not a signal to quit. You are the captain of this ship. If the ship veers 1 degree off course, do you turn the wheel and drive into an iceberg? No. You correct 1 degree back. Stop smashing your phone. Stop driving into icebergs. It was just a cookie. Get over it. In the next chapter, we are going to give you the weapon. We are going to break down the math and the method of the golden rule itself. We are going to talk about the power of never missing twice. Don't panic, just pivot. Chapter 3. The Golden Rule. The mathematical power of never missing twice. We have talked about the problem. Now let's talk about the solution. It is simple, it is boring, and it is the most powerful algorithm for success ever invented. The rule, never miss twice. That's it. You don't need a complex flowchart. You don't need a guru. You just need to follow this one binary instruction. If you miss a habit today, you must do it tomorrow. No negotiation, no excuses. The first miss is an accident. The second miss is the beginning of the end. This rule changes the game from perfection to persistence. It acknowledges that you are human. It builds a safety valve into your system. It says, you can fail, but you cannot quit. The math of consistency. Let's look at the numbers, because feelings lie, but numbers tell the truth. Imagine you want to start working out every day. In the perfectionist model, you aim for 365 days. You hit 40 days straight. Then you get sick. You miss a week. Then you get discouraged and quit for a month. Then you restart. By the end of the year, the average person in this cycle completes about 100 workouts, and they hate themselves the whole time. Now, apply the never miss twice model. Let's say you are a disaster. Let's say you have a terrible year. Let's say you miss a workout every single week. That is 52 misses. That sounds bad, right? The perfectionist would scream. But do the math. 3x to 5 minus 52 equals 313 workouts. 313 workouts is an elite level of fitness. If you work out 313 times in a year, you will be unrecognizable. You will be in the top 1% of the population. And you did it while failing 52 times. Let's take it further. Let's say you are even worse. Let's say you miss a habit every other day. You work out Monday, you miss Tuesday. You work out Wednesday, you miss Thursday. You never miss twice. You always come back. That is a 50% consistency rate. That is 182 workouts. That is still 3 to 4 times a week. That is enough to transform your health. Do you see the power here? The perfectionist demands 100% and ends up with 20%. The never miss twice practitioner accepts the slips, keeps the chain alive, and ends up with 85% or more. Consistency. Intensity. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. We overestimate what we can do in a day, intensity, and underestimate what we can do in a year, consistency. A massive workout once a month does nothing. A mediocre workout 3 times a week builds a champion. The golden rule protects the compound interest of your habits. When you miss twice, 3 times, 4 times, you interrupt the compounding. You let the momentum die. When you miss once and jump back in, you preserve the momentum. You keep the flywheel spinning. The Identity Protection Program. The most important reason for this rule is not the result. It is your identity. Every time you take an action, you cast a vote for the type of person you want to be. Scenario A. You miss a day. You miss the next day. You miss the third day. The vote. I am a person who quits when things get busy. Your brain believes this. It lowers your self-esteem. Scenario B. You miss a day. You get back on track immediately. The vote. I am a person who bounces back. The vote. I am reliable. This builds resilience. Knowing that you can recover from a mistake makes you fearless. The perfectionist is terrified of making a mistake because they know it will destroy them. You are not afraid of mistakes. You know how to fix them, how to implement the rule. So how do we actually do this? 1. The X calendar, the Seinfeld strategy. Jerry Seinfeld used a wall calendar. Every day he wrote a joke, he put a big red X on that day. His goal was, don't break the chain. We are modifying this. Your goal, don't have 2 blank spaces in a row. Buy a calendar. Put it on the wall. If you work out, mark an X. If you miss, leave it blank. When you wake up and see a blank space from yesterday, that is a code red emergency. That blank space is screaming at you. You must put an X today. The survival of your habit depends on it. 2. The minimum viable effort, MVE. Sometimes, the reason you miss twice is because the habit is too hard. You missed the hour-long gym session yesterday. Today, you are busy again. You think, I can't do an hour, so I'll miss again. No. This violates the rule. You must modify the habit. Do the minimum viable effort. Can't do an hour? Do 10 minutes? Can't run 5 miles? Walk around the block? Can't write 1,000 words? Write 1 sentence. The goal of the recovery rep is not to burn calories or produce a masterpiece. The goal is to keep the X on the calendar. The goal is to show up. A bad workout saves the habit. A missed workout kills it. 3. The if-then plan. You need to script your recovery. Your brain is weak when it fails. It wants to give up. You need to pre-decide your move. If I eat a cheat meal for lunch, then I will eat only protein and veggies for dinner. If I miss my morning writing, then I will write for 15 minutes before bed. If I miss a day of sales calls, then I will add 5 calls to tomorrow's quota. Do not wait until you mess up to decide what to do. Decide now. The psychology of the second miss. Why is the second miss so deadly? Because it establishes a new normal. 1 miss is an outlier. It's a glitch in the matrix. 2 misses is a pattern. 3 misses is a lifestyle. By the 3rd day, the inertia has shifted. It is now harder to start than it is to stay stopped. The friction has returned. The never miss twice rule prevents the friction from hardening. It keeps the clay soft. The narrator's promise, I am going to make you a promise. If you follow this rule for 365 days, your life will be unrecognizable. You don't have to be perfect. You can be messy. You can have bad days. You can have off weeks. But if you ruthlessly refuse to let 2 failures stack up, you will win. You will write the book. You will build the business. You will get the body. It is mathematical inevitability. Time plus consistency. Results. You control the consistency. Time will take care of the rest. Action plan for Chapter 3. Step 1. Buy a physical calendar or draw one on a piece of paper. Step 2. Pick 1 habit you are trying to build. Just 1. Don't try to apply this to 10 things at once yet. Step 3. Mark today. Did you do it? Yes or no? Step 4. Look at yesterday. Did you do it? Step 5. If yesterday is blank, today is mandatory. There is no maybe today. If you missed yesterday, today is a war for your soul. Do the rep. Mark the X. Save the streak. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about the bad days. The days when everything goes wrong. The days when you have 0 willpower. How do you survive those? We are going to discuss the emergency protocol. Keep the chain alive. Never miss twice. Chapter 4. The emergency protocol. How to salvage a bad day before it becomes a bad week. It is 6 p.m. The day has been a disaster. You woke up late because your alarm didn't go off. You spilled coffee on your shirt. Your boss yelled at you for a mistake you didn't make. Your child is sick and screaming. You have a headache that feels like a drill bit in your temple. Your plan for the day, the gym, the healthy cooking, the writing session, is currently on fire in a dumpster. The perfectionist looks at this day and says, "It's over. I'll try again tomorrow." The perfectionist goes home, orders a pizza, opens a beer, and sulks. They accept the loss. They let the chaos win. But you are not a perfectionist. You are a practitioner of consistency. And you know that bad days are the decisive terrain. Anyone can be consistent when the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and they have 8 hours of sleep. That is easy. That is fair weather consistency. Champions are built in the storm. Champions are built on the days when everything goes wrong. This chapter is about the emergency protocol. It is about having a plan B that is so easy, so foolproof, and so fast that you can execute it even when your world is falling apart. The concept of the backup generator. Think about a hospital. They run on the main power grid. It powers the lights, the MRI machines, the cafeteria, the elevators. But what happens when the storm hits and the power goes out? Does the hospital just shut down? Do the patients on ventilators die? No. The backup generator kicks in. The backup generator doesn't run everything. It doesn't run the vending machines or the TV in the waiting room. It only runs the mission-critical systems. It keeps the life support on. It keeps the emergency lights on. It keeps the patient alive until the storm passes. You need a backup generator for your life. Most people run on all or nothing. Either the main power is on, perfect diet, perfect workout, or the power is off, binge eating, zero movement. The emergency protocol is your middle ground. It is the bridge over the chaos. Defining the mission critical. To build your protocol, you must identify what actually matters. What is the active ingredient of your habit? Let's look at fitness. The perfectionist says, "I need to do 60 minutes of weightlifting, hit my macros perfectly, and drink a protein shake." That is the main grid. On a bad day, you don't have 60 minutes. You don't have the energy. What is the mission-critical component? Movement. Keeping the identity of an athlete alive. So, your emergency protocol for fitness might be 15 minutes of bodyweight squats and push-ups in the living room, or a 20-minute walk outside. It isn't optimal. It won't get you on the cover of a magazine. But it keeps the streak alive. It puts the X on the calendar. It stops you from feeling like a failure. The strategy, the floor and the ceiling. We often set ceiling goals. I want to make $10,000 this month. I want to run a marathon. These are great for ambition. They are terrible for consistency. You need floor goals. The floor is the absolute minimum standard you are willing to accept from yourself. The floor is so low that you can step over it even if you are sick, tired, and depressed. Example. The writer's ceiling goal. Write 2,000 words of high-quality prose. Floor goal, emergency protocol. Write 50 words, anything, even if it's garbage. Example. The Dieter ceiling goal. 100% organic, perfectly macro-balanced, zero sugar, intermittent fasting. Floor goal, emergency protocol. Stay under maintenance calories, even if it's a sandwich, just don't binge. On a bad day, you do not aim for the ceiling, you aim for the floor. Hitting the floor is a victory. Why? Because it maintains the neural pathway. Every day you do a habit, you are digging a groove in your brain. If you stop, the groove fills in with dust. If you do a floor version of the habit, you are still clearing the dust. You are keeping the path open. You are telling your brain, we do this every day, no matter what. The non-zero day. There is a famous concept on the internet called the non-zero day. The rule is simple. You never have a zero. You want to read? Read one page, not zero. You want to build a business? Send one email, not zero. You want to get fit? Do one push-up, not zero. A zero day is a vote for I am a quitter. A non-zero day, even if it is tiny, is a vote for I am relentless. The emergency protocol is simply a structured way to ensure a non-zero day. It is a pre-written checklist for when your brain is offline. How to build your emergency protocol. You cannot wait for the emergency to decide what to do. When you are stressed, your IQ drops. You revert to your lowest level of training. If you don't have a plan, your default plan is Netflix and ice cream. Step 1. Identify your core habits. Pick the 2 to 3 things that keep you sane. Movement, learning, business. Step 2. Define the main grid, the perfect day. This is what you do when life is good, e.g., 1-hour gym session. Step 3. Define the emergency protocol, the bad day. This must be under 15 minutes, require no equipment, require no travel, require very little willpower. Step 4. Write it on a physical card. Keep it in your wallet, or tape it to your mirror. Label it. In case of emergency. Scenario. It's 9 p.m. You just got home. You are exhausted. You missed the gym. You look at the card. It says, emergency protocol, 50 air squats, 20 push-ups, 2-minute plank. You don't have to think. You just execute. 7 minutes later, you are done. You take a shower. You go to bed. You mark the X on the calendar. You won. The psychological victory. Here is the secret magic of the emergency protocol. When you execute it, you actually feel better than on a normal day. Why? Because you overcame resistance. Doing a workout when you feel great is easy. It's expected. Doing a 10-minute workout when you feel like death is heroic. You go to bed with a sense of pride. I didn't let the day beat me. This builds self-trust. Self-trust is the ultimate confidence. It is knowing that you can rely on yourself when the chips are down. If you only show up when it's easy, you have fair-weather confidence. If you show up when it's hard, you have unstoppable confidence. Navigating the all-or-nothing trap. Your ego will hate the emergency protocol. Your ego will say, "What's the point of 10 minutes? It won't burn any fat. It's pathetic." This is the perfectionist demon talking. You must silence it. Tell the demon, the point is not the fat burning. The point is the chain. The point is not the output. The point is the input. We are not optimizing for results today. We are optimizing for survival. You are keeping the habit alive so that tomorrow, when the storm passes, you can ramp back up to 100%. If you quit today, restarting tomorrow is 10 times harder. Real-life example. The sick day. Let's say you have the flu. You obviously cannot go to the gym. You should not go to the gym. Does that mean a 0 day? No. Your emergency protocol for sickness might be stretch for 5 minutes, drink 4 liters of water, meditate for 10 minutes. You are still focusing on your body. You are still executing a protocol. You didn't quit fitness. You shifted fitness to recovery mode. The intent is still there. The consistency is still there. You are still in the game. Action plan for Chapter 4. Step 1. Take out an index card or open a note on your phone. Step 2. Write down your big 3 habits. Step 3. Next to each one, write the emergency version. Gym, 1 hour. Living room circuit, 10 mins. Read, 30 mins. Read 1 page. Sales calls, 20 calls. Send 2 personalized emails. Step 4. The next time chaos strikes, and it will strike soon, do not panic. Do not quit. Activate the protocol. Switch to the backup generator. Save the day. And remember, a C- day is infinitely better than a 0. In the next chapter, we are going to go deeper into the execution. We are going to talk about the effort required to start these emergency protocols. We are going to discuss minimum viable effort and how to trick your brain into starting when you are paralyzed on the couch. The storm is coming. Get your generator ready. Chapter 5. Minimum viable effort. The art of showing up when you want to quit. You know the feeling. It is 6 a.m. The alarm goes off. It is cold. Your bed is warm. Your brain immediately starts the negotiation. I worked hard yesterday. My throat feels a little scratchy. Maybe I should rest. I'll go tomorrow. Or it is 7 p.m. You are sitting on the couch. You know you need to clean the kitchen. The sink is full of dishes. You look at the sink. It looks like Mount Everest. You think, I can't deal with that right now. It will take forever. So you turn on the TV. This is the paralysis. It is the heavy, suffocating weight of inertia. And it is the number one reason people fail. They fail not because they can't do the work. They fail because they can't start the work. In physics, there are two types of friction: static friction and kinetic friction. Static friction is the force that keeps a heavy box sitting on the floor. To move that box, you have to push incredibly hard to break the seal of gravity. Kinetic friction is the force resisting the box once it is already moving. Here is the secret. Static friction is always higher than kinetic friction. It takes 10 times more energy to start moving the box than it does to keep it moving. The moment you are paralyzed on the couch, you are fighting static friction. You are looking at the entire workout. You are looking at the entire dirty kitchen. You are looking at the entire chapter you need to write. It feels heavy. It feels impossible. Chapter 5 is about minimum viable effort, MVE. It is the art of cheating physics. It is the art of lowering the static friction so much that a gust of wind could push you into action. We are going to stop trying to move the whole box. We are just going to twitch a finger. The 2-minute rule. The most effective weapon against paralysis is the 2-minute rule. This comes from David Allen's Getting Things Done, but we are applying it to habit formation. The rule states, make the starting habit take less than 2 minutes. You are not trying to go for a run. That is scary. That implies pain, sweat, and 30 minutes of effort. Your goal is simply, put on my running shoes. That takes 30 seconds. Can you sit on the couch and say, I am too exhausted to tie my shoes? No, that is ridiculous. You are not trying to clean the kitchen. Your goal is, wash one fork. You are not trying to write a book. Your goal is, open the laptop. By shrinking the task down to the MVE, you bypass the brain's threat detection system. Your brain is scared of run 5 miles. It perceives it as pain. Your brain is not scared of tie shoes. It perceives it as easy. So, you tie your shoes. And here is the magic trick. Once the shoes are on, the static friction is broken. You are now in motion. And since you are already standing there with your shoes on, you might as well step outside. And since you are outside, you might as well walk to the corner. And since you are walking, you might as well jog. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Most people wait for motivation to strike like lightning. I need to get pumped up. No, you need to move. Motion creates emotion. The Trojan horse technique, minimum viable effort, is a lie. But it is a useful lie. It is a Trojan horse. You tell your brain, we are just going to do this tiny, easy thing. Your brain opens the gates and lets you in. Once you are inside, once you have started, the soldiers jump out and you conquer the city. I use this all the time. I tell myself, I'm just going to drive to the gym. If I get there and I still hate it, I can come home. I give myself full permission to quit after the drive. But guess what? I have never, not once in 10 years, driven to the gym and turned around. Once I am there, the smell of the rubber mats, the sound of the iron, it triggers the habit. The hard part wasn't the lifting. The hard part was the driving. MVE is about mastering the entry point. Habits are like highways. There is an on-ramp. If you can just get your car on the on-ramp, the highway takes you the rest of the way. Stop worrying about the destination. Just find the on-ramp. The law of conservation of energy. Your brain is a biological machine designed to save energy. It is an efficiency engine. When you present it with a big task, it calculates the caloric cost. Clean kitchen, auction high cost. Sit on couch, not auction low cost. The brain chooses the low cost. This is survival. When you use MVE, you trick the calculator. Wash one fork, auction low cost. The brain says, okay, we can afford that. But once you wash the fork, you get a hit of dopamine. Hey, I did something. I was productive. That dopamine gives you a little burst of fuel. Now the brain recalculates. Wash one plate, we have dopamine fuel. Okay, do it. You chain these tiny actions together until the kitchen is clean. You are hacking your own biology. You are using the brain's desire for easy wins against it. Dealing with the ego. The biggest enemy of minimum viable effort is your ego. Your ego wants to look like a hero. Your ego says, washing one fork is pathetic. Walking for 5 minutes doesn't count. If you can't do it right, don't do it at all. You must kill the ego. The ego wants to be impressive. The consistency practitioner wants to be effective. Is it impressive to put on your running shoes and walk around the block? No. Is it effective at keeping the habit alive? Yes. Is it better than sitting on the couch eating chips? Yes. You have to be willing to do a bad workout. You have to be willing to write a bad paragraph. You have to be willing to do a bad meditation session. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. Read that again. If it is worth doing, it is worth doing poorly, because doing it poorly is infinitely better than not doing it. The ritual of the start. Twyla Tharp is one of the greatest choreographers in history. She trains for hours, every day. In her book, The Creative Habit, she talks about her morning ritual. She wakes up at 5:30 a.m. She puts on her workout clothes. She walks out of her Manhattan apartment. She hails a taxi. She tells the driver to go to the pumping iron gym. She says, "The ritual is not the stretching and weight training I put my body through each morning at the gym. The ritual is the cab. The moment I tell the driver where to go, I have completed the ritual." She defined her MVE. It wasn't the workout. It was the cab ride. If she gets in the cab, the workout happens. What is your cab ride? For writing, is it opening your laptop and putting on your headphones? For cooking, is it taking the cutting board out of the cupboard? For sales calls, is it dialing the first number even if you hang up? Identify the trigger action. Make that action your only goal. Standardize before you optimize. James Clear says, "You cannot improve a habit that does not exist." Many of you are trying to optimize your workout routine. Should I do 3 sets or 4 sets? High weight or low weight? But you aren't even showing up consistently yet. You are trying to optimize a ghost. First, standardize. Show up every day, even for 2 minutes. Establish the rhythm. Establish the neural pathway. Make showing up the automatic default. Once you are showing up every day for 2 minutes, and I mean every day, then, and only then, do you optimize. Then you extend it to 10 minutes, then 30, then an hour. You earn the right to intensity through consistency. Real-life application, the commercial break workout. Let's apply this to a real problem. You are watching TV. You know you should exercise. You feel glued to the couch. Use MVE. The rule: during the next commercial break, or between Netflix episodes, I will do 5 squats. Just 5. You don't even have to change clothes. You don't have to turn off the TV. Just stand up. Down, up. Down, up. 5 times. Sit back down. You just broke the seal. You prove to yourself that you are not paralyzed. Often, after those 5 squats, you'll think, I could do 5 push-ups too. And suddenly, you're working out. Action plan for Chapter 5. Step 1. Identify the struggle. Pick the one habit you are procrastinating on right now, the one that feels heavy. Step 2. Shrink it. Cut it in half. Then cut it in half again. Keep cutting until it feels ridiculously easy, until your brain says, well, obviously I can do that. Step 3. Define the entry point. Is it putting on shoes? Opening a notebook? Filling a glass of water? This is your new goal. Step 4. Execute the MVE. Do it right now. Do not think about Step 2. Just do Step 1. Close the gap between thought and action. Remember, the heaviest weight at the gym is not the barbell. It is the front door. Open the door. The rest is easy. In the next chapter, we are going to look at your surroundings. You are trying to fight a war, but your battlefield is working against you. We are going to talk about the environment of forgiveness. How to design a space that catches you when you fall. Put your shoes on. Just the shoes. Chapter 6. The environment of forgiveness. Designing a space that allows for errors. Look around you right now. Look at your desk. Look at your kitchen. Look at your bedroom. Is your environment fighting for you or against you? We tend to think of consistency as an internal battle, a war of willpower inside our heads. But the truth is, the battle is often won or lost before you even wake up. It is won or lost by the design of your room. Willpower is a battery. It drains throughout the day. Your environment is gravity. It is constant. It never gets tired. If your environment is designed to pull you down, your battery will eventually die, and you will fall. Most people design their homes for their ideal self. They buy a complicated juicer that takes 20 minutes to clean. They buy exercise equipment that they shove under the bed. They organize their desk for a perfect workday. But this book is not about the perfect day. It is about the bad day. And on a bad day, the complicated juicer is an obstacle. The treadmill under the bed is invisible. On a bad day, you need an environment of forgiveness. What is an environment of forgiveness? An environment of forgiveness is a space that anticipates your failure. It assumes you will be tired. It assumes you will be lazy. It assumes you will want to quit. And it removes the friction of restarting. It is an environment where the right choice is also the easiest choice. Imagine a computer. When it crashes, it doesn't just die. It has a safe mode. It reboots with the bare minimum settings so you can fix the problem. Your house needs a safe mode. Principle 1. The ready position, mise en place. Chefs have a philosophy called mise en place. It means everything in its place. Before they cook, they chop the onions, measure the spices, and lay out the tools. They do the work before the rush begins. You need to live your life in the ready position. This is the single greatest hack for never missing twice. The rule: You never finish a habit until you have set up the environment for the next repetition. The gym. When you finish working out, you don't just throw your clothes in the hamper. You immediately lay out the clothes for tomorrow. You fill the water bottle. You put the shoes by the door. Why? Because tomorrow morning, you might be tired. If you have to search for socks, you will quit. If the clothes are staring at you, you will go. The kitchen. You never go to bed with a dirty sink. If you wake up to a mess, you will order takeout for breakfast. If you wake up to a clean kitchen and a blender sitting on the counter, you will make the smoothie. The desk. When you finish work, close the 50 tabs on your browser. Open the document you need to work on tomorrow. Leave it on the screen. When you sit down the next day, there is no friction. You just type. You are being kind to your future self. You are acknowledging that future you might be weak. So present you is making it easy for them. Principle 2. The visual interrupt. When you slip, when you are doom scrolling on your phone or eating junk, you enter a trance. You are on autopilot. You need an environment that wakes you up. You need a visual interrupt. This is why we put the calendar on the wall, not in an app. An app can be closed. A calendar on the wall screams at you every time you walk by. You missed yesterday, don't miss today. The strategy. Place physical reminders of your identity in your path. Put a book on your pillow. You cannot go to sleep without physically moving it. That is a reminder to read. Put your vitamin bottle in front of your toothpaste. You cannot brush your teeth without touching it. Put a sticky note on the TV remote that says, "Have you earned this?" These are speed bumps. They break the trance of laziness. Principle 3. Friction engineering. We talked about MVE, minimum viable effort. That lowers the mental bar. Now we need to lower the physical bar. The law of convenience. Humans will usually choose the option that requires the least amount of caloric energy. If the healthy food is on the top shelf, behind the pasta, and in a sealed jar, you will eat the chips on the counter. If the guitar is in its case in the closet, you will watch Netflix. To create an environment of forgiveness, you must reduce friction for good habits. Make the good thing effortless. Keep the fruit bowl on the counter. Keep the guitar on a stand. Keep the notebook open. Increase friction for bad habits. Make the bad thing annoying. If you want to stop watching TV, take the batteries out of the remote. Put them in a drawer. Now, to watch TV, you have to stand up, get the batteries, and put them in. On a lazy day, that tiny amount of effort is enough to stop you. Principle 4. The digital sanctuary. Your digital environment is more dangerous than your physical one. Your phone is a casino designed to steal your attention. When you slip, e.g., check Instagram during work, the environment sucks you in. The algorithm feeds you more. You need to design a digital environment of forgiveness. This means designing a phone that lets you escape the loop. Grayscale. Turn your phone to black and white. It makes the screen boring. It breaks the dopamine loop. The empty home screen. Move all colorful, addictive apps to the second page or into a folder. Your home screen should be tools only: calendar, maps, notes. The do not disturb. Default, keep your phone on silent. Always. If you check your phone and see a boring, gray screen with no red notifications, it forgives you. It doesn't hook you. It lets you put it down and get back to work. The reset station. I want you to create a specific physical space in your home called the reset station. This could be a specific chair, a corner of a room, a yoga mat. This space has one rule: No stress allowed. No phone allowed. When you are spiraling, when you have missed twice, when you are angry, when you are overwhelmed, you go to the reset station. You sit there. Because the space is anchored to calmness, your body physically relaxes. It is a safe zone. You don't try to solve the problem there. You just breathe. Once you are calm, you stand up and execute the emergency protocol. Chapter 4. Real-life example. The cookie jar. Let's be honest. If there are cookies in the house, you will eat them. I'll just use willpower, you say. You are lying. Willpower fails when you are tired. The environment of forgiveness does not tempt you. The rule: do not bring the enemy into the castle. If you want a cookie, go to a bakery. Buy one. Eat it. Enjoy it. But do not buy a box and put it in your pantry. That is not forgiveness. That is a trap. That is creating an environment where failure is inevitable. Action plan for Chapter 6. Step 1. The bedroom scan. Walk into your bedroom. Is it designed for sleep? Is there a TV? Remove it. Is the phone charger next to the bed? Move it across the room. Is the book you want to read visible? Step 2. The kitchen scan. Walk into your kitchen. What is the first thing you see on the counter? Is it food? Is it junk? Or is it water and fruit? Clear the counters. The only food visible should be healthy food. Step 3. The ready position. Tonight, before you sleep, set the stage for tomorrow. Lay out the clothes. Open the notebook. Fill the water. Do not let tomorrow you start the day with a chore. Let them start with a win. Step 4. The reset. Find your reset station. Pick a chair. Sit in it for 2 minutes today. Do nothing. Anchor the feeling of peace to that spot. You cannot fight the world every day. The world is too heavy. You need a fortress. Your home is your fortress. If the walls are crumbling, the enemy gets in. If the walls are strong, you can recover, rest, and fight again. Build your fortress. Make it safe to fail, so it is safer to succeed. In the next chapter, we are going to look at how you measure success. You have been taught to look at streaks, but streaks are fragile. We need a new metric, a metric that rewards resilience. We are going to talk about data versus drama. Clean your desk. Set the stage. Tomorrow starts now. Chapter 7. Data versus drama. Tracking recovery speed instead of streaks. Open your habit tracking app or look at your calendar. What do you see? If you are like most people, you see a chain. Monday, check. Tuesday, check. Wednesday, check. Thursday, empty. And when you see that empty space, what do you feel? Do you feel curious? No. You feel a pang in your chest. You feel disappointment. You feel drama. I broke the chain. I ruined the streak. I was doing so well, and now it's gone. You are looking at your habits through the lens of emotion. You are attaching your self-worth to a binary outcome. Pass or fail, good or bad, saint or sinner. This is a terrible way to live, and it is a terrible way to build a life. Because the moment the fail happens, and it will happen, the drama takes over. Drama screams, "You are weak, you are inconsistent," and when you feel weak, you act weak. You quit. Chapter 7 is about replacing drama with data. We are going to fire the inner critic and hire the inner scientist. We are going to stop tracking streaks and start tracking recovery speed. The problem with the streaks are a double-edged sword. In the beginning, they are motivating. Look, I've done 10 days in a row, but as the streak gets longer, the stakes get higher. At day 50, you are terrified of breaking it. At day 100, the habit feels like a prison. You aren't doing it because it improves your life. You are doing it because you are afraid of losing the number. And when the number resets to 0, the motivation evaporates. I did 100 days. Now I'm at day 1. What's the point? The perceived loss is so huge that you don't want to start over. Streaks are fragile. We need a metric that is anti-fragile. Metric number 1, the batting average. Let's talk about baseball. If a baseball player hits the ball 30% of the time, a 300 batting average, they are considered a legend. They go to the Hall of Fame. They fail 70% of the time, and they are heroes. Imagine if a baseball player quit the game because he missed one swing. Well, I didn't hit 100% of the balls. I guess I'm not a baseball player. That is insanity. Yet that is how you treat your diet. That is how you treat your business. We need to switch from a chain mindset to a percentage mindset. Don't look at the consecutive days. Look at the monthly volume. There are 30 days in a month. If you work out 20 times, your batting average is 666. If you work out 25 times, your batting average is 833. If you miss a day, your average drops slightly. From 833 to 800, it does not drop to 0. Your hard work is not lost. It is banked in the average. This removes the fear. A missed day is just a data point. It lowers the average, but it doesn't destroy the asset. The scientist mindset. When a scientist runs an experiment and it fails, they do not cry. They do not say, "I am a bad person." They say, "Interesting." They look at the data. Why did it fail? Was the temperature too high? Was the mixture wrong? They adjust the variable and run the experiment again. You must become the scientist of your own life. When you miss a habit, do not get angry. Get curious. Why did I miss the gym yesterday? The drama answer. Because I'm lazy. Useless. The data answer. I stayed up until 2 a.m. watching Netflix, so I slept through the alarm. Useful. The data tells you the fix. Fix. Go to bed earlier, or put the alarm across the room. There's no emotion in data. There are only inputs and outputs. If you change the inputs, you change the outputs. Metric number 2, recovery speed, lag time. This is the most important metric in the never miss twice philosophy. I want you to measure lag time. Lag time is the time elapsed between the slip and the return. Scenario A, you miss Monday. You return Tuesday. Lag time, 24 hours. Excellent. Scenario B, you miss Monday. You feel guilty. You wait until next Monday to start fresh. Lag time, 7 days. Dangerous. Scenario C, you miss Monday. You quit until New Year's resolution. Lag time, 4 months. Catastrophic. Your goal is not 0 misses. Your goal is minimum lag time. You should take pride in a short lag time. If you miss a workout and then you force yourself to go the very next day, that is a victory. You should celebrate that. I slipped, but my lag time was only 24 hours. I am a machine. This shifts the focus from perfection to resilience. A person with 0 misses is lucky. A person with short lag time is strong. How to track data, the practical guide. Stop using apps that only show streaks, or ignore that feature. Here is how to track like a pro. The paper tracker. Take a piece of paper, number it 1 to 30. Every day you hit the habit, circle the number. Every day you miss, put an X. At the end of the month, count the circles. Divide by 30. Write the percentage at the top in big red ink. 85%. The lag log. Keep a specific note in your phone called recoveries. Every time you miss and then successfully execute the never miss twice rule, log it. Missed Tuesday, returned Wednesday, lag 1 day. Missed diet lunch, ate healthy dinner, lag, 4 hours. When you look at this log, you won't see a list of failures. You will see a list of comebacks. You will see proof that you are someone who gets back up. That is powerful data. The 80% rule, the Pareto principle. Here is the truth about consistency. You do not need 100% to change your life. You need about 80%. If you eat clean 80% of the time, you will be lean. If you save money 80% of the time, you will be wealthy. If you work deep 80% of the time, you will be productive. The other 20%, that is for life. That is for birthday cake, lazy Sundays, and mistakes. If you aim for 100%, you will inevitably hit 0% when you crash. If you aim for 80%, you can sustain it for 50 years. When you look at your tracker and see 80%, do not think, I missed 20%. Think, I have achieved the maximum, sustainable efficiency. You are optimizing for the long game. Subjective data. The why column. In your tracker, add a tiny column for notes. If you miss, write down why in one word. Tired, hungover, busy, forgot. After a month, look at the data. If you see hungover 5 times, you don't have a gym problem. You have a drinking problem. If you see forgot 10 times, you don't have a discipline problem. You have a reminder problem, environmental design. The data reveals the bottleneck. The drama just hides it. Drama says, try harder. Data says, change the system. I want you to delete your streak-based apps, or at least stop worshiping them. I want you to calculate your batting average for the last month. Be honest. Did you hit 500? Did you hit 100? Whatever the number is, look at it without judgment. It is just a number. It is just coordinates on a map. You are here. Now ask yourself, how do I get to 600 next month? You don't need to be perfect. You just need 3 more hits than last month. That is doable. That is real. Stop crying over broken chains. Start measuring the speed of your comeback. The best athletes in the world aren't the ones who never fall. They are the ones who get up so fast, you barely noticed they were down. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about flexibility. Sometimes you miss because your rules are too rigid. You are trying to be a statue, but life is a river. We are going to talk about identity elasticity, how to bend without breaking. Look at the spreadsheet. Close the drama. Get back to work. Chapter 8. Identity elasticity, being flexible without being weak. There is an old fable by Aesop about the oak tree and the reed. The oak tree was huge. It was strong. It stood tall and rigid. It said, I will not bow to the wind. The reed was small. It was thin. It grew by the riverbank. Then a massive hurricane came. The oak tree fought the wind. It stood rigid, and because it could not bend, it snapped. The wind ripped it out by the roots. The reed, it bowed. It bent all the way to the ground. It let the wind pass over it. And when the storm was over, the reed stood back up. Most of you are trying to be the oak tree. You build habits that are rigid. I wake up at 5 a.m. every day. I eat strictly paleo. I write 1,000 words in my office. This rigidity feels like strength, but it is actually a weakness. Because when the storm comes, and the storm always comes, the rigid habit snaps. If you are a 5 a.m. person, and you have a flight that lands at 2 a.m., you are broken. You can't wake up at 5 noon. Your identity shatters. If you are a strict paleo person, and you are stuck in an airport with only a sandwich shop, you starve or you binge. Chapter 8 is about identity elasticity. It is about building an identity that stretches, bends, and adapts, but never breaks. It is about being the reed. The problem with rigid identity. When you say, I am a person who does X, you create a binary condition. If you do X, you are yourself. If you do not do X, you are a fraud. I see this in fitness all the time. Someone identifies as a bodybuilder. They need a gym, chalk, and a belt. Then they go on vacation to a hotel with only a few dumbbells. The oak tree mindset says, "This isn't a real gym. I can't do my real workout, so I will skip it." They choose zero because they couldn't do perfect. The elastic identity says, "I am an athlete. An athlete trains. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter how. Give an athlete a rock, and they will lift it. Give them a floor, and they will do push-ups. The method changes. The identity remains." The volume knob versus the light switch. Most people treat their habits like a light switch. It is either on, perfect execution, or off, total laziness. If they can't have the light fully on, they turn it off. You need to treat your habits like a dimmer switch, volume knob. Life is loud. Sometimes you can crank the volume to 10. Sometimes life is chaotic, and you have to turn the volume down to 1. But you never turn the music off. Volume 10, 60-minute heavy lifting session. Volume 5, 20-minute dumbbell circuit. Volume 1, 5 minutes of stretching. All of these are on. All of these count. The elastic identity allows you to adjust the volume to match the chaos of the day without feeling like you failed. The OR operator. In computer programming, there is logic called AND OR. Rigid habits use AND. To win today, I must run 5 miles and eat a salad and read 20 pages. If one fails, the whole statement returns false. Elastic habits use OR. To win today, I must move my body, run or walk or stretch. I must feed my mind, read or listen to audio or journal. When you use the OR operator, you give yourself a menu of options. You make success easy to define and failure hard to achieve. You become a contextual chameleon, the contextual chameleon. A chameleon changes its color to match its environment. It survives because it fits in. You must do the same with your habits. Scenario: the business trip. Rigid you: I can't eat healthy because I'm eating out with clients. Failure. Elastic you: I am a healthy eater. In this restaurant, that means I order the steak and double vegetables and skip the fries. Success. Scenario: the sick child. Rigid you: I can't write my book because I don't have my 2 hours of quiet time. Failure. Elastic you: I am a writer. I will dictate ideas into my phone while I hold the baby. Success. The goal is not to force the world to fit your habit. The goal is to force your habit to fit the world. Case study: the prison workout. Think about prisoners. They have terrible food, no equipment, and small cells. Yet, some of the fittest people on earth are in prison. How? Because they are the ultimate chameleons. They use bed sheets for rows. They do burpees in a 6x8 cell. They use water jugs for weights. They don't say, "I'll get fit when I have a gym membership." They say, "I am getting fit right here, right now." If a prisoner can stay consistent in a cage, you can stay consistent in a Holiday Inn Express. Your excuses are invalid. Breaking the format addiction. We get addicted to the format of our habits. You fall in love with the ritual, the specific coffee mug, the specific chair, the specific pen. When the ritual is disrupted, you feel lost. You must practice ritual breaking. Intentionally do your habit wrong. Usually right in the morning, right at night. Usually run on a treadmill, run outside in the rain. Usually meditate in silence, meditate on a noisy bus. Why? To prove to your brain that you are the habit. The chair is not the habit. The silence is not the habit. You are the generator of the action. When you decouple the habit from the environment, you become truly unstoppable. You can execute anywhere, anytime, under any conditions. The elasticity of identity statements. We need to rewrite your identity statements from month 14 of the previous book. We need to make them bulletproof. Rigid. I am a vegan. Risk. You accidentally eat butter. Crisis. Elastic. I am a person who prioritizes plants and whole foods. Benefit. If you eat butter, you just go back to plants next meal. No crisis. Rigid. I run 5 miles a day. Risk. You twist your ankle, you quit. Elastic. I do not miss days of movement. Benefit. Ankle hurt? You do seated dumbbell presses. The chain remains unbroken. Action plan for Chapter 8. Step 1. Audit your rigidity. Look at where you keep failing. Is it because you are waiting for perfect conditions? I only write when the house is quiet. I only work out when I have my pre-workout drink. Identify the crutches. Step 2. Create the volume dial. For your main habit, write down what level 1, level 5, and level 10 look like. Give yourself permission to play at level 1 when life gets hard. Step 3. The OR rewrite. Rewrite your daily goal using OR. Today I will hard version or easy version. As long as you do one, you win. The lesson of the bamboo, be like bamboo. Bamboo is hard, but it sways in the wind. Snow piles up on the bamboo. It bends all the way down until the snow slides off. Then it snaps back up. It doesn't fight the snow. It adapts to it. Be the bamboo. When life piles stress on you, bend, lower the volume, simplify the habit, let the stress slide off, and then snap back to position. In the next chapter, we are going to tackle the biggest enemy of consistency. The time when structure disappears. The time when the what the hell effect is strongest. The weekend. We are going to talk about the weekend trap and how to survive Friday night. Be water, my friend. Be elastic. Chapter 9. The Weekend Trap, Why You Lose Control on Friday Night, and How to Stop. It is Friday, 5 p.m. You survived the week. You hit your workouts. You ate your salads. You finished your work. You feel a sense of relief. You exhale. You say the magic words, I made it. And then, the switch flips. It's the weekend. I deserve a break. I deserve a drink. I deserve a pizza. I deserve to sleep in until noon. So you let go of the steering wheel. Friday night turns into a blur. Saturday is a lazy haze of sugar and screens. Sunday is a day of regret and the Sunday scaries. By Monday morning, you feel bloated, tired, and behind schedule. You spend Monday and Tuesday just trying to get back to where you were on Friday. You are living in the 5-2 cycle. You take 5 steps forward during the week. You take 2 steps backward during the weekend. Net progress, 3 steps. But it feels like 0, because the backward steps are so destructive. This is the weekend trap. It is the belief that the weekend is a vacation from your life. But if you need a vacation from your life every single week, you haven't designed a life. You have designed a prison. Chapter 9 is about reclaiming 29% of your year. That is what weekends are. 104 days a year. Almost 1/3 of your existence. We are going to stop treating them like a dumpster for your habits. We are going to turn them into your secret weapon. The structure vacuum. Why do you fail on weekends? Is it because you are weak? No. It is because you lack structure. Monday through Friday, your life is scaffolded. The alarm clock wakes you up. The boss expects you at 9 hours. The kids need to be at school. The gym is on the way home. External forces hold your habits in place. On Saturday, the scaffolding is removed. There is no alarm, no boss. no schedule. You are left alone with your willpower. And as we know, willpower is a battery that runs out. Without the external structure, you collapse into the path of least resistance. The couch. The goal of the weekend is not to become a robot. You need rest. But there is a difference between rest and decay. Active leisure versus passive decay. Most people confuse doing nothing with relaxing. They sit on the couch and scroll TikTok for 4 hours. Does that make you feel rested? No. It makes you feel drained, anxious, and lethargic. This is passive decay. You are rotting. The protocol demands active leisure. Active leisure recharges the battery. Going for a hike, reading a fiction book, cooking a complex meal with your partner, playing a sport, building something in the garage. These things require effort, but they return energy. When you finish a hike, you are physically tired, but mentally alive. When you finish 4 hours of Netflix, you are mentally dead. Strategy 1. The anchor points. You cannot script every minute of your weekend. That is suffocating. But you cannot have zero script. That is chaos. You need anchor points. An anchor point is a non-negotiable event that holds the day together. The wake-up anchor. Do not sleep in for 4 hours. That is social jet lag. It destroys your circadian rhythm from the previous book. Sleep in for 1 hour max. If you usually wake up at 6 a.m., wake up at 7 a.m. This keeps the biological clock running. The morning anchor. Keep the first 60 minutes of the weekend identical to the week. Drink the water, get the sunlight, eat the protein. This tells your brain, we are still online. The identity is still active. After that first hour, go do whatever you want. Be lazy, but win the morning. The Sunday reset anchor. We discussed this in the last book, but here it is critical for consistency. Sunday afternoon is for prep. Meal prep, clothes prep, calendar prep. You do not slide into Monday, you launch into Monday. Strategy 2. The Friday transition ritual. The slide usually happens on Friday evening. You carry the stress of the week into the weekend, and you use alcohol or food to numb it. You need a better way to put down the heavy bag. Create a transition ritual. This signals to your brain that work mode is off and home mode is on without needing a substance. The commute decompress. Listen to music, not business podcasts, on the way home. The shower. Immediately take a shower when you get home on Friday. Wash off the week. Put on comfortable but clean clothes. The brain dump. Write down everything you are worried about for next week on a piece of paper. Leave it on your desk. Tell your brain, we will pick this up on Monday. Once the transition is done, you are free to relax without the guilt and without the binge. Strategy 3. The one big thing. Rule: weekends feel wasted when you do nothing. Guilt comes from wasted time. To kill the guilt, you need just one big thing. Plan one event for the weekend that you will look forward to. We are going to the new museum. I am going to build the bookshelf. We are going to try that new hiking trail. If you accomplish one big thing, the weekend feels like a success. It gives you a story to tell on Monday. What did you do this weekend? Instead of mumbling, nothing much, just watched TV, you say, I hiked a mountain. That reinforces the identity of an active person. Strategy 4. The cheat meal containment field. Let's talk about food. You are going to eat off-plan on the weekend. That is fine. That is life. But we need to contain the blast radius. Use the sandwich rule. Sandwich the bad meal between two good decisions. Before the pizza, drink a liter of water and eat a bowl of raw veggies. Fill the tank with good stuff first. Eat the pizza. Enjoy it. Zero guilt. After the pizza, go for a 15-minute walk. Blunt the insulin spike. This prevents the what the hell effect from Chapter 2. You didn't ruin the day. You just had a meal. And because you bracketed it with healthy actions, the chain remains unbroken. The myth of I deserve it. We need to attack the phrase, I deserve a break. What are you saying? You are saying that your healthy habits are a punishment. You are saying that eating clean and working out is a tax you pay, and the reward is being lazy and eating junk. This frame is poisonous. Being healthy is the reward. Being clear-headed is the reward. Waking up without a hangover is the reward. When you binge on the weekend, you are not rewarding yourself. You are punishing your future self. You are stealing happiness from Monday to pay for Friday. It is a bad loan with high interest. Change the narrative. I deserve to feel good on Saturday morning. I deserve to have energy to play with my kids. I deserve to keep the momentum I fought for all week. Handling the social pressure preview. Your friends will be the biggest obstacle on the weekend. Come on, have another drink. Let's order the nachos. We will go deep on this in Chapter 11, but for now, remember the power of the driver. If you are the driver, designated driver, nobody pressures you. Be the driver of your own life. No thanks. I'm training tomorrow. That's it. Action plan for Chapter 9. Step 1. Define the anchor. What time are you waking up this Saturday? Set the alarm now. Yes, set an alarm for Saturday. It doesn't have to be 5 a.m., but it has to be a choice, not an accident. Step 2. Plan the active leisure. Pick one big thing to do this weekend that involves movement or creativity. Put it on the calendar. Step 3. The Friday ritual. Decide how you will close the week. Will you write a to-do list for Monday? Will you take a long shower? Plan the transition so you don't need a bottle of wine to relax. Step 4. The Sunday setup. Block out 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. That is your launch pad. Grocery shop. Plan the week. Clear the email. The weekend is not a finish line. It is just a different type of track. The week is a sprint. The weekend is a jog. But you never stop moving. Because if you stop, you have to start the heavy engine all over again on Monday. And that is why you are tired. Keep the engine idling. Keep the momentum. Own your weekend, and you own your life. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about when things get really bad. Not just a lazy weekend, but a crisis, a death, a disaster. How do you stay consistent when your world is burning down? We are going to talk about crisis management. Enjoy your Friday. But wake up on Saturday. Chapter 10. Crisis management. How to stay consistent when life explodes. We need to talk about the dark days. I can give you all the strategies in the world for weekends, for mornings, for lazy afternoons. But none of that matters when the phone rings at 2 a.m. None of that matters when the doctor walks into the room with a grim look on his face. None of that matters when you lose your job, your spouse, or your health. When a true crisis hits, your 3-step morning routine feels like a joke. You don't care about your macros. You don't care about your step count. You are just trying to breathe. The perfectionist collapses in a crisis. They think, I can't do my full routine, so I will let everything go. They stop sleeping. They eat garbage, or nothing at all. They stop moving. And as a result, they become weaker exactly when they need to be strongest. Chapter 10 is not about crushing it while your life falls apart. It is about surviving. It is about triage. It is about how to keep a tiny, flickering flame of consistency alive in the middle of a hurricane, so that when the storm passes, you have something to come back to. The oxygen mask rule. You have heard it 1,000 times on airplanes. In the event of a loss of cabin pressure, secure your own mask before assisting others. It is a cliché because it is true. In a crisis, you are usually taking care of everyone else. You are handling the funeral arrangements. You are comforting the kids. You are scrambling to find a new job to pay the mortgage. You are pouring from an empty cup. If you abandon your basic biological needs during a crisis, you will crash. And when you crash, you become another casualty that someone else has to take care of. The goal of crisis management is not growth. The goal is maintenance. You are not trying to get stronger. You are trying not to break. You are not trying to get richer. You are trying not to go bankrupt. You are shifting from thriving mode to survival mode. The triage protocol. In an emergency room, doctors use triage. They sort patients into 3 categories. Immediate, will die without help right now. Urgent, needs help but can wait a few hours. Minor, can wait all day. When your life explodes, you must triage your habits. You cannot do it all. You have limited emotional bandwidth. You must ruthlessly cut the minor to save the immediate. Category 3. The minor, cut these immediately. Learning a language, reading business books, the complex 12-step skincare routine, tracking every calorie perfectly, networking, action. Pause these indefinitely. Do not feel guilty. They are not essential for survival. Category 2. The urgent, modify these. Heavy weightlifting, high stress on the CNS. Deep work, requires high focus. Strict dieting. Action, switch to emergency protocol, chapter 4. Change lifting to walking. Change deep work to basic maintenance. Change strict diet to just eat enough protein. Category 1. The tatita, immediate, protect these at all costs. Sleep. Hydration. Movement, walking. These 3 are the life support system. If you stop sleeping, you will have a breakdown. If you stop drinking water, you will get headaches and brain fog. If you stop walking, the cortisol, stress hormone, will become toxic in your blood. In a crisis, your only job is to protect category 1. If you sleep, drink water, and walk, you win the day. Everything else is optional. The concept of the anchor. When the storm is raging, the ship needs an anchor. You need one habit that stays exactly the same, no matter what. This habit tells your brain, the world is crazy, but I am still here. I still have control over this. For some people, it is making the bed. No matter how bad the grief is, no matter how scary the diagnosis is, you wake up and you make the bed. That crisp, clean bed is a signal of order in a world of chaos. For others, it is a hot shower. For others, it is 5 minutes of journaling. Pick your anchor. It should be small. It should be easy. But it must be non-negotiable. When you do your anchor habit, you are asserting your existence against the chaos. You are saying, I am still the captain of this ship. Cortisol management. We need to talk about biology. A crisis floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. This is the fight or flight response. It is designed to last for 20 minutes, to run away from a tiger. In a modern crisis, divorce, layoffs, it lasts for months. Chronic cortisol destroys your brain, eats your muscle, and stores fat. If you try to do a high-intensity interval training, HIIT, workout while you are grieving, you are pouring gasoline on a fire. Your body is already stressed. You are adding physical stress to emotional stress. You will injure yourself. You will get sick. The shift. Move from stimulating habits to soothing habits. Instead of espresso, drink herbal tea. Instead of sprinting, walk in nature. Instead of loud music, silence. Instead of cold showers, warm baths. You need to manually lower your nervous system arousal. This is not being lazy. This is biological necessity. You are managing your energy so you can fight another day. The good enough. Standard. In Chapter 1, we killed perfectionism. In a crisis, we must bury it deep in the ground. You will eat pizza. You will cry. You will stare at the wall for an hour. That is okay. Do not judge your crisis self by the standards of your normal self. If you usually run 5 miles, and today you only walked to the mailbox, that is good enough. If you usually eat organic salads, and today you ate a peanut butter sandwich, that is good enough. Give yourself grace. Grace is not an excuse to give up. Grace is the permission to be human. If you beat yourself up for being weak while you are grieving, you are an abuser. Do not abuse yourself. Be your own best friend. What would you tell your best friend if they were in this situation? You would say, "It's okay, just rest, just drink some water." Tell that to yourself. The light at the end of the tunnel. Every crisis ends. The grief eventually softens. The job eventually comes. The health eventually stabilizes. And when the clouds part, you will look at where you are. If you abandoned everything, you will find yourself 30 pounds heavier, in debt, and addicted to bad habits. You will have a second crisis, your health, to deal with. But if you followed the triage protocol, if you kept the anchor, if you kept the emergency baseline, you will find yourself tired, yes. Battered, yes. But you will be standing. You will not have to start from zero. You will have preserved the foundation. And because you kept the habit of never missing twice, even if it was just drinking water, you will have proved to yourself that you are unbreakable. Action plan for Chapter 10. Step 1. Acknowledge the storm. If you are in a crisis, admit it. Stop pretending it's a normal week. Say out loud, "I am in survival mode." Step 2. Define the triage. What are the 3 things you must do to stay alive? Sleep, food, movement. Write them down. Everything else is paused. No guilt. Step 3. Pick your anchor. Choose one tiny ritual. Make the bed. Brush your teeth mindfully. Drink a glass of water upon waking. Do it every single day. It is your lifeline. Step 4. Lower the bar. Accept C- work. A C- workout is a passing grade. A C- diet is a passing grade. Pass the class. Don't try to get an A right now. I hope you don't need this chapter right now, but keep it in your back pocket, because life is long and winter is coming eventually. When it comes, do not be a hero. Be a survivor. Keep the chain alive, even if the links are made of rust. Rust can be polished later, but a broken chain is useless. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about the people around you. Sometimes the crisis isn't an event. It's a person. It's the friends who mock your new habits. It's the family that pressures you to eat. We are going to talk about social friction and how to say no without losing your friends. Rest now. Drink some water. You are doing better than you think. Chapter 11. Social friction. Handling peer pressure. When you're off track, you are strong when you are alone. In your room, with your calendar and your meal prep, you are a machine. But eventually, you have to leave the house. Eventually, you have to face the final boss of consistency. Other people. It's Friday night. You are at a restaurant. You have been clean all week. You are proud. Then the waiter brings the dessert menu. Your friend looks at you and says, "Come on, Let's split the cheesecake. Don't be boring. You've been so good all week, you deserve it. And just like that, you crumble. Why? Because the social pressure hits you in your weakest spot, your desire to belong. We are tribal animals. For thousands of years, saying no to the tribe meant death. If you rejected the tribe's food, you were an outcast. So biologically, you are wired to say yes to the cheesecake to stay safe. But you are not living in a cave anymore. You are living in the modern world, where the tribe is obese, broke, and tired. If you follow the tribe, you become the tribe. Chapter 11 is about social friction. It is about how to stay consistent when everyone around you is trying to pull you off the wagon. And more importantly, how to handle it when you have already slipped, and they are trying to turn a single miss into a permanent slide. The sabotage of love. Let's get one thing straight. Your friends and family are not evil. They are not trying to destroy you. They love you, but they are sabotaging you. Why? Because your improvement is a mirror reflecting their stagnation. When you order water while they order beer, you are silently screaming, "I am disciplined." This makes them hear, "You are undisciplined." It makes them uncomfortable. So they try to bring you back down to their level. Not to hurt you, but to make themselves feel comfortable again. Just one drink. Just one slice. Skip the gym, let's go to brunch. They are offering you permission to fail. And when you are tired, permission to fail is the most seductive thing in the world. The I can't versus I don't rule. How do you say no without looking like a jerk? Most people say, "I can't eat that, I'm on a diet." "I can't drink, I'm doing a challenge." This is weak. I can't suggests that you want to do it, but some external force is stopping you. It sounds like deprivation. It invites an argument. Friend, oh, come on, one cheat day won't hurt. The diet starts Monday. And now you are arguing. Switch your language. Do not say I can't. Say I don't. No thanks. I don't eat sugar. No thanks. I don't drink on weeknights. No thanks. I don't miss workouts. I don't is an identity statement. It comes from within. It implies that you are not the kind of person who does that thing. It is powerful. It shuts down the argument. You can't argue with someone's identity. If you say, "I don't eat meat," nobody tries to force a steak on you. They respect it. Treat your habits with the same conviction. The Trojan horse. The prop. Sometimes you don't want to have the conversation at all. You just want to blend in, use a prop. If everyone is drinking alcohol and you are standing there empty-handed, you are a target. People will constantly ask, "Can I get you a drink?" Go to the bar. Order a club soda with a lime in a short glass. It looks like a vodka tonic. Hold it. Sip it. Nobody will ask you if you want a drink because you have a drink. You fit the visual pattern of the tribe, so they leave you alone. If there is a buffet, put healthy food on your plate. Hold the plate. People only pressure you to eat if your plate is empty. "Here, try this." "Oh, I'm still working on this, thanks." Deflect the pressure with the prop. The future self excuse. If "I don't" feels too aggressive, use the future self excuse. Blame your schedule. "I would love to stay, but I have a 6 a.m. training session tomorrow and I need to be sharp. I'm prepping for a big project, so I'm heading out." This reframes your no as a yes to something more important. You aren't rejecting them. You are accepting a mission. People respect ambition. If you say, "I'm going home to sleep," they say, "Boring." If you say, "I'm training for a marathon," they say, "Respect." The danger zone. When you've already slipped here is the specific danger for the never miss twice protocol. Let's say you missed your workout yesterday. Today, you are fragile. You are fighting to get the X on the calendar. This is the moment when social friction is most deadly. If you are already feeling guilty about yesterday, and your friend says, "Let's skip the gym and go to the movies," your brain wants to say yes. Your brain says, "See, even they think you should skip. Just give up." In this moment, you must go radio silent. Do not ask for opinions. Do not negotiate. If you are in the danger zone, trying to recover from a miss, you isolate yourself until the habit is done. Turn off your phone. Go to the gym alone. Do the work. Only after you have secured the recovery do you re-enter the social world. You cannot afford to be around enablers when you are teetering on the edge of a cliff. The designated driver mindset. When a group goes out, one person is the designated driver. They stay sober. They are responsible. Does anyone pressure the designated driver to do shots? No. Because their sobriety keeps everyone else safe. You need to view yourself as the designated driver of excellence for your friend group. By staying consistent, you are showing them what is possible. You are holding the standard. Eventually, the dynamic flips. Instead of them pulling you down, you pull them up. They start saying, "Hey, can I join you for that workout? Hey, how do you meal prep like that?" Be the leader. Leaders don't ask for permission to be great. The fade, the Irish exit. Sometimes the environment is just too toxic. It's 11 p.m. Everyone is drunk. The pizza is coming out. The bad decisions are multiplying. You don't need to announce your departure. You don't need to say goodbye to everyone, which invites no, stay, don't go. Just leave. The fade. Walk out the door. Send a text later. Had a great time, headed home, see you soon. By the time they read it, you are already in your pajamas, safe. Protecting your sleep and your habit is more important than being polite to people who won't remember the night anyway. Action plan for Chapter 11. Step 1. Identify the pushers. Who in your life constantly pressures you to break your habits? Prepare for them. Do not be surprised when they offer you the cake. Expect it. Step 2. Practice the script. Stand in the mirror. Look at yourself. Say, "No thanks, I don't drink on weekdays." Say, "No thanks, I don't eat fried food." Say it until it sounds natural, until it sounds like a fact, not an apology. Step 3. The preemptive strike. If you are going out for dinner, look at the menu online before you go. Decide what you are eating. When you arrive, order first. "I'll have the salmon and greens." Once you order, the decision is locked. You can't be swayed by what your friends order. You're going to lose some drinking buddies. That is the price of admission. But you will gain respect. And eventually, you will attract a new tribe. A tribe that says, "Let's go for a run," instead of "Let's get wasted." But until then, hold the line. Use your props. Use your scripts. Use the fade. Never let a polite yes turn into a second miss. In the next chapter, we are going to deal with the enemy inside your own head. The voice that tells you that you are worthless because you messed up. We are going to talk about the shame spiral and how to break the loop of self-hatred. Stand your ground. I don't miss twice. Chapter 12. The shame spiral. Breaking the loop of self-hatred. Let's go to the darkest place. The place you go when the door is closed and the lights are out. You messed up. Maybe you drank too much. Maybe you yelled at your kids. Maybe you skipped a week of work. The event is over. The mistake is in the past, but you are not letting it go. You are sitting there replaying the tape, and the voice in your head starts speaking. You are pathetic. You are lazy. You always do this. You will never change. You are a fraud. This is the shame spiral. It feels like you are punishing yourself. It feels like you are taking responsibility. You think, if I beat myself up enough, I will finally change. If I make myself feel terrible, I won't do it again. I need you to hear me clearly. You are wrong. Self-hatred is not a strategy. Self-hatred is a trap. Shame does not lead to better habits. Shame leads to relapse. Chapter 12 is about the most counterintuitive truth in human psychology. If you want to stop failing, you have to stop hating yourself for failing. The biology of shame. Let's look at the brain. When you feel guilt, your brain focuses on the action. I did a bad thing. This activates the logic centers. It leads to repair. I should apologize. I should fix it. When you feel shame, your brain focuses on the self. I am a bad person. This activates the amygdala, the threat center. Shame is perceived by the brain as a threat to your survival. It feels like you are being rejected by the tribe. When the amygdala is on fire, your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for willpower and long-term planning, shuts down. You literally become dumber. You become more impulsive. And because you feel pain, your brain screams for a painkiller. What is the painkiller? The bad habit, the food, the scroll, the drink, the procrastination. Getty images, the cycle, the slip. You miss a habit. The shame, I am worthless. The pain, emotional distress builds. The soothe, you binge to numb the pain. Repeat, now you have missed twice. The shame gets deeper. The spiral goes down. You are not binging because you are hungry. You are binging to shut up the voice that calls you a loser. The tough love fallacy. You grew up believing that tough love works. Maybe a parent or a coach screamed at you to get results. So now you scream at yourself. Get up, you lazy idiot. This might work for a sprint. Fear is a great motivator for about 15 minutes. But for a marathon? For a lifetime? It is poison. Living with a drill sergeant inside your head is exhausting. Eventually, you rebel against the drill sergeant. You self-sabotage just to prove that you can't be controlled, even by yourself. The alternative. Strategic self-compassion. I know. Self-compassion sounds soft. It sounds like something from a yoga retreat. You are rolling your eyes. I don't want to be soft. I want to be a savage. Listen. Self-compassion is not soft. It is surgical. It is the ability to look at a mistake without emotional collapse. Imagine a high-performance pit crew in Formula One. The driver comes in. The tire is flat. Does the crew chief scream, "You idiot! You ruined the tire! You are a terrible driver!" No. He says, "Flat tire. Change it. Go." He is unemotional. He is focused on the solution, not the character of the driver. That is self-compassion. It is separating the data from the drama, Chapter 7. It is saying, I messed up. I am human. What is the next step? The best friend test. Here is the tool. It works every time. Imagine your best friend comes to you. They look defeated. They say, I messed up. I tried to stick to my diet, but I got stressed and ate a pizza. I'm such a loser. I should just give up. What would you say to them? Would you say, yeah, you are a loser. You're fat and lazy. You should definitely quit. Of course not. You would punch anyone who said that to your friend. You would say, hey, it happens. You had a hard week. One pizza doesn't ruin a month of hard work. Just get back on track tomorrow. You got this. Why do you talk to your friends like a coach, but talk to yourself like an abuser? You are holding yourself to a standard of perfection that you would never demand from anyone else. From this moment on, you are not allowed to say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to your best friend. The I am separation. You must separate your identity from your behavior. Behavior, I missed the workout. True, a fact. Identity, I am lazy. False, an opinion. Behavior, I lost my temper. True. Identity, I am a bad father. False. When you label your identity, I am lazy, you make it permanent. You cannot fix lazy. That's just who you are. But you can fix a missed workout. You can just do a workout. Every time you catch yourself using I am to describe a failure, stop, rephrase it. I experienced a moment of laziness. I made a poor choice. These are temporary states. They pass. Breaking the spiral, the 3-step rescue. You are in the spiral right now. You feel the shame rising. You want to give up. Do this. Step 1. The stop word. When the inner voice says you are pathetic, say the word stop out loud. Literally say it. Disrupt the pattern. Or visualize a giant red stop sign. Step 2. The assessment. State the facts like a robot. No adjectives. I ate cookies. I did not write. I watched TV for 3 hours. Do not add because I suck. Just the facts. Step 3. The next right action. What is the smallest thing you can do right now to cast a vote for the other side? Drink a glass of water. Wash your face. Do 5 squats. The moment you take action, the shame begins to dissolve. Action cures fear. Action cures shame. The concept of the rebound. In basketball, if you miss a shot, you don't stand there crying. You jump for the rebound. The best players miss constantly, but they are relentless on the rebound. View your mistake as a missed shot. The ball is in the air. Are you going to stare at the floor and cry? Or are you going to jump and grab it? The recovery is more important than the shot. Every time you execute a never miss twice recovery, you are killing the shame monster. You are proving to yourself, I am not perfect, but I am resilient. And resilience is a much stronger identity than perfection. Action plan for Chapter 12. Step 1. Catch the critic. For the next 24 hours, monitor your internal monologue. When you make a small mistake, drop a pen, forget an email. Listen to what you say. Stupid. Idiot. Catch it. Step 2. The rewrite. Correct the thought immediately. I'm not an idiot. I'm just tired. I'll pick up the pen. Practice this on the small stuff so you are ready for the big stuff. Step 3. Forgive a past failure. Think of something you are still beating yourself up for from last month or last year. Close your eyes. Visualize yourself back then. Say to that version of you, I forgive you. You were doing your best with what you knew. We are moving on. Cut the anchor. You cannot bully yourself into a better life. You have tried. It hasn't worked. Try kindness. Not the soft kind, the strategic kind. The kind that says, we messed up, clean it up, let's go. You are stuck in a loop. The only way out is to stop fighting the old version of you and start building the new one. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about realizing when a goal is actually wrong. Sometimes you aren't failing because you are weak. You are failing because the plan is broken. We are going to talk about the pivot, knowing the difference between quitting and adjusting. Forgive yourself. Do the work. Chapter 13. The pivot. Knowing the difference between quitting and adjusting. You have been told a lie. You have been told that winners never quit. You have been told that if you stop, you are a failure. You have been told to trust the process. But what if the process is broken? What if you are running full speed toward a cliff? Is the winner the person who keeps running off the edge? Or is the winner the person who stops, looks at the map, and changes direction? There is a dangerous trap in the world of self-improvement. It is called blind consistency. It is the belief that grinding harder is always the answer. If the diet isn't working, starve yourself more. If the business isn't growing, work more hours. If the workout hurts your back, push through the pain. This is not resilience. This is stupidity. Chapter 13 is about the pivot. It is about the crucial difference between quitting, giving up on the vision, and adjusting, changing the strategy. Sometimes, the reason you keep missing twice is not because you are weak. It is because the plan is wrong. The definition of insanity. Einstein said, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results." Look at your habit tracker. Is there a habit that looks like a war zone? You do it for 3 days, then miss for a week, then try again, then crash. You have been trying to make this specific habit work for 6 months, and for 6 months, it has failed. The never miss twice rule is designed to keep you on the path. But what if the path is full of quicksand? If you keep failing at the same point repeatedly, you do not need more willpower. You need a new strategy. Quitting versus pivoting. We need to separate these two concepts. They look similar from the outside, but they are opposite on the inside. Quitting is emotional. It happens when things get hard. It is a reaction to pain or boredom. This is too hard. I give up. I am going to sit on the couch. Quitting abandons the goal. Pivoting is strategic. It happens when things aren't working. It is a reaction to data. This method isn't delivering results. I'm going to try a different method to reach the same destination. Pivoting preserves the goal but changes the vehicle. Example. Goal, get fit. Current strategy. CrossFit at 5 a.m. Result, you hate it. You are constantly injured. You miss half the classes. Quitting. I guess I'm not a fitness person. I'll just stay home. Goal dies. Pivoting. CrossFit isn't working for my body. I'm going to switch to swimming at 6 p.m. Goal lives. Strategy changes. Do not confuse the mission with the method. Be stubborn about your goals. Be flexible about your methods. The sunk cost fallacy. Why do we stick to bad plans? Because of the sunk cost fallacy. I've already paid for the year-long membership. I've already told everyone I'm going to run a marathon. I've been doing this for 2 years. Your brain tricks you into thinking that stopping now means the past effort was wasted. So you keep throwing good money and time after bad. Let me liberate you. The past is gone. It doesn't matter how much time you spent on a bad strategy. If you are digging a hole in the wrong place, digging deeper doesn't help. The only logical move is to stop digging and move the shovel. The pivot audit. 3 signs you need to change. How do you know if you are just being lazy and need to push through, or if you need a pivot? Here are the 3 indicators. 1. The dread factor, emotional signal. There is good pain and bad pain. Good pain is the resistance before a workout. I don't want to go, but I'll feel great after. Bad pain is dread. It is a deep, heavy feeling in your gut. It feels like you are marching to your execution. If you feel dread every single time you approach a habit, your subconscious is screaming at you that this is unsustainable. You cannot fight dread for 20 years. You will lose. Pivot. Change the activity to something that creates resistance, not dread. 2. The data plateau, logical signal. You are doing the work. You are consistent. But the results have stopped. You haven't lost weight in 3 months. Your business revenue is flat. Your writing isn't getting better. Blind consistency says, keep doing it. The pivot says, the formula has stopped working. Pivot. You need to increase intensity, change the variable, or learn a new skill. 3. The injury loop, physical signal. Every time you get a streak going, you get sick or injured. This is your body's way of saying, this is too much. You are exceeding your recovery capacity. If you keep pushing, you will suffer a catastrophic failure. Pivot, lower the volume, focus on recovery, change the modality. How to execute a pivot, audiobook narrator. Cue, instructional, clear steps. You realize the plan is broken. Now what? Do not just stop. That leaves a vacuum. You must immediately replace the old strategy with the new one. Variable 1, the time. Maybe the habit is right, but the slot is wrong. You are trying to read at night, but you always fall asleep. Pivot. Move reading to the morning. Keep the book, change the clock. Variable 2, the environment. You are trying to work from home, but the kids are distracting. Pivot. Work from a coffee shop. Keep the work, change the location. Variable 3, the modality. You hate running? Pivot. Buy a bike. Keep the cardio, change the machine. Variable 4, the intensity. You are failing to write 1,000 words. Pivot. Drop the goal to 200 words. Keep the writing, change the scale. Case study. The YouTuber. Let's talk about a creator like Mimser ENG. He has a channel about gardening. He posts every week for a year. Consistency is perfect. But he gets 10 views per video. He is frustrated. He wants to quit YouTube. The quitter stops making videos. YouTube is rigged. The blind grinder keeps making gardening videos for another 5 years, hoping for a miracle. The pivoter looks at the data. People don't like my gardening videos. But that one video I made about garden economics got 1,000 views. He pivots. He changes the niche to the finance of farming. He keeps the habit, making videos. He changes the topic. Suddenly he explodes. He didn't quit YouTube. He quit the bad strategy. The experiment mindset. The best way to pivot without feeling like a failure is to frame everything as an experiment. Don't say, I am going to do keto for the rest of my life. Say, I am running a 30-day experiment with keto. If it works, great. Extend the experiment. If it fails, great. The experiment concluded. You have data. Keto makes me tired. Now run the next experiment. Paleo. Scientists don't quit experiments. They conclude them. Be a scientist. The danger of shiny object syndrome. A warning. There is a difference between pivoting and shiny object syndrome. Shiny object syndrome is when you change strategies every week because you are bored or looking for a shortcut. You try dropshipping for a week, then crypto, then AI. You never go deep enough to get results. The rule: you are not allowed to pivot until you have given the current strategy a fair trial. A fair trial is usually 30 to 90 days of consistent execution. If you haven't been consistent, you can't blame the strategy. You have to blame your execution. Only pivot after you have been consistent, and the results are still missing. Action plan for Chapter 13. Step 1. The habit audit. Look at your tracker. Identify the problem child, the habit that causes you the most stress, the one you keep missing. Step 2. The diagnostic. Ask yourself, do I hate the result? If yes, quit the goal. Do I hate the process? If yes, pivot the method. Am I just being lazy? If yes, apply minimum viable effort from Chapter 5. Step 3. Design the pivot. Change one variable: time, place, method, intensity. Write down the new plan. I am no longer trying to run at 5 a.m. starting tomorrow. I run at 6 p.m. Step 4. The clean slate. Forgive the failure of the old strategy. You didn't fail. The strategy failed. You are now running Experiment B. It takes courage to start. But it takes even more courage to stop and say, I was wrong. Do not cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. You are the CEO of your life. If a department isn't performing, you don't shut down the company. You restructure the department. Restructure your habits. Keep the goal. Change the path. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about the long game. You have pivoted. You have adjusted. Now, how do you handle the inevitable setbacks that feel like they send you back to square one? We are going to debunk the myth of restarting. We are going to talk about the comeback. Don't quit. Just turn the wheel. Chapter 14. The comeback. Why restarting is a myth. There is a phrase that kills more dreams than any other. It is a phrase you say to yourself after a long break. Maybe you got sick. Maybe you went through a divorce. Maybe you just got lazy for 3 months. You look at your running shoes gathering dust. You look at your empty notebook, and you sigh, and you say, I have to start over. And the moment you say, start over, you feel the weight of the entire world land on your shoulders. You remember how hard it was to start the first time. You remember the pain, the discipline, the struggle to build momentum, and you think, I can't do that again. I don't have the energy to climb the mountain from the bottom. So you don't start. You stay stopped. Not because you can't do the work, but because you are demoralized by the idea of being a beginner again. I have good news for you. You are lying to yourself. You are not starting over. You are not at the bottom of the mountain. You are not a beginner. Starting over is a myth. You are simply resuming. And there is a massive biological, psychological, and physical difference between starting and resuming. The video game analogy. Think about a video game. You play an RPG, role-playing game, for 50 hours. You level up your character. You learn the controls. You beat the bosses. You get the best armor. Then, life gets busy. You put the controller down for a month. When you pick the controller back up, do you go back to level 1? Does the game erase your armor? Do you forget how to press the buttons? No. You might be a little rusty. Your timing might be off for the first 10 minutes. But you are still a level 50 character. You still know the strategy. You pick up right where you left off, maybe a few steps back at the last save point, but never at the beginning. Your life is the same. You have earned experience points, XP. You cannot unlearn what you have learned. You cannot unfeel what you have felt. The biology of muscle memory. Let's look at the science. When you build muscle, your body creates myonuclei, little control centers inside the muscle fiber. When you stop training, the muscle shrinks, atrophy. The fluid leaves. The size decreases. But the myonuclei remain. They stay there for years, even decades. When you start training again, you do not have to build new myonuclei. You just have to wake up the old ones. This is why a person who was fit 10 years ago can regain their muscle in 2 months, whereas it took them 2 years to build it the first time. This is muscle memory. The same is true for your brain. When you built the habit of writing or coding or waking up early, you physically myelinated the pathways in your brain, like paving a road. When you stopped, grass grew over the road. But the pavement is still there underneath the grass. You don't have to build a new road. You just have to trim the grass. The comeback is always, always faster than the start. The trap of comparison. Past self versus present self. Why does it feel so hard then? If it's easier to resume, why does it feel more painful? Because of comparison. When you start for the very first time, day one, you have zero expectations. You are weak, and you know you are weak. Every little bit of progress feels like a win. But when you are coming back, the comeback, you are comparing your current weak self to your past peak self. You go to the gym. You struggle to lift 100 pounds. Your ego screams, "You used to lift 200 pounds. This is pathetic. You have lost so much." This comparison is toxic. It blinds you to the reality of the situation. Yes, you are weaker than your peak, but you are stronger than your zero. The rule: do not compare yourself to who you were. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Yesterday you were on the couch. Today you are in the gym. That is a win. If you obsess over the lost gains, you will quit. Mourn the loss quickly, then get back to work. Reframing the narrative. The gap year, stop calling it a failure. Call it a gap. Or better yet, call it a season. Nature works in seasons. Trees do not bloom all year round. In winter, they look dead. They have no leaves. They are not growing. But they are not dead. They are dormant. They are conserving energy. And when spring comes, they explode. You just went through a winter. Maybe it was a winter of depression, a winter of laziness, a winter of grief. That is okay. Winter is part of the cycle. But spring has arrived. You don't look at a tree in spring and say, "Stupid tree, you have to start all over." You say, "It's time to bloom again." The comeback strategy. The on-ramp. So how do you actually come back without hurting yourself? The biggest mistake people make is trying to jump straight back to their peak intensity. They haven't run in 6 months, so they try to run 5 miles. They get injured. They get incredibly sore. They feel like failures. And they quit again. You cannot merge onto the highway from a dead stop. You will cause a crash. You need an on-ramp. The 50% rule. For the first week of your comeback, do exactly 50% of what you think you can do. Used to run 5 miles? Run 2.5 miles. Used to write 1,000 words? Write 500. Used to lift 200 pounds? Lift 100. Your ego will hate this. It will feel too easy. Good. We want it to feel easy. We want to reestablish the habit before we reestablish the intensity. Remember Chapter 3. Consistency, intensity. Your goal for the first week is simply to show up and not get hurt. Your goal is to put the X on the calendar. Once the chain is reconnected, then you can increase the weight. The welcome back ritual. When you walk into a gym after a year, nobody boos you. Nobody points and laughs. In fact, if they notice you, they think, "Good for them. They're back." You need to welcome yourself back. Most people berate themselves back. Finally, you lazy slob, get in there and suffer. Try a different approach. Try the welcome back approach. When you put your shoes on for the first time in months, say to yourself, "Welcome back. I missed you." Treat yourself like an old friend who has returned from a long, difficult journey. Be kind. Be gentle. Let's just get the body moving. No pressure. It's just good to be here. This removes the dread. It replaces shame, Chapter 12, with gratitude. The comeback as a skill. Here is the deepest truth about the comeback. The ability to return is a skill in itself. There are 2 types of people. People who have never failed, fragile. People who have failed and come back, anti-fragile. The person who has never missed a day is terrified of missing a day. They don't know if they can handle it. But you have fallen. You have laid in the mud. And you have stood up. You know you can do it. Every time you execute a comeback, you get better at it. Your lag time, Chapter 7, gets shorter. The first time you quit, you were gone for 2 years. The next time, you were gone for 2 months. This time, you were gone for 2 weeks. Next time, it will be 2 days. You are mastering the art of the return. And since life is suffering and chaos, the art of the return is more valuable than the art of the start. Action plan for Chapter 14. Step 1. The vocabulary shift. Catch yourself saying, start over. Correct it immediately. Say, I am resuming. I am rebooting. I am respawning. Step 2. The audit of assets. Write down what you still know. Do you still know how to perform a squat? Yes. Do you still know how to write a sentence? Yes. Do you still know how to cook a vegetable? Yes. Look at that list. You are not at zero. You are armed and dangerous. Step 3. The 50% week. Plan your first week back. Cut the volume in half. Leave the gym feeling like you could have done more. Leave the desk feeling like you could have written more. Hunger is better than burnout. Step 4. Just 1x. Don't worry about the streak. Don't worry about the month. Just get 1x on the calendar today. Turn the light switch from off to on, Volume 1. The road is long. You stepped off the path for a while to pee, or to sleep, or to cry. So what? The path is still there. It hasn't moved. Your shoes are still on your feet. Step back on the pavement. Start walking. You'll catch up to your old self faster than you think. And when you pass him, give him a wave. Because you are stronger now. You are a comeback king. In the final chapter, we are going to look at the horizon. We are going to stop looking at days and weeks and start looking at years and decades. We are going to talk about the infinite chain, how to build a life that is proof against failure forever. Welcome back. We missed you. Chapter 15. The Infinite Chain. Building a life proof against failure. This is it, the final chapter. You have spent 14 chapters learning how to fight. You learned how to fight the perfectionism that paralyzes you. You learned how to fight the shame that eats you alive. You learned how to fight the weekends, the crises, and the excuses. But I have one final warning for you, and it is the most important warning in this entire book. The war never ends. The moment you close this book, you might feel a sense of accomplishment. You might think, I did it, I learned the system, now I am fixed. That thought is poison. You are not fixed. You are simply armed. The enemy, entropy, laziness, chaos, is waiting outside your door. It is doing push-ups in the driveway while you sleep. It never gets tired. It never takes a day off. Gravity is pulling you down every single second. The only thing keeping you up is the force of your will and the strength of your habits. Chapter 15 is about the infinite chain. It is about accepting that there is no finish line. There is no trophy ceremony. There is no retirement from excellence. You have to do this forever. The finite game versus the infinite game. Most people play finite games. I want to lose 20 pounds. Finite. I want to save $10,000. Finite. I want to read 12 books. Finite. The problem with finite games is that they end. And when they end, the motivation dies. You lose the 20 pounds, so you stop dieting. 6 months later, you found the 20 pounds again, plus 5 more. You save the money, then you spend it on a car. Now you are broke again. The protocol of never miss twice is an infinite game. The goal is not to win. The goal is to keep playing. You don't get fit to be fit. You get fit to remain fit. You don't make money to be rich. You make money to stay free. You must shift your mindset from achieving to becoming. Achievements can be taken away. Identity cannot. The chain link theory. I want you to visualize your life as a long, heavy metal chain. Each day you show up is a link. Some links are made of gold. These are the days when you felt amazing. You hit a personal record. You closed a huge deal. You ate perfectly. These links shine. Some links are made of iron. These are the boring days. You showed up. You did the work. Nothing special happened. These links are strong, but dull. And some links are made of rust. These are the days you used the emergency protocol. The days you did the minimum viable effort. The days you were sick, sad, or tired, but you did something. These links look ugly. They are rough. But here's the secret. The chain holds. A chain made of gold, iron, and rust is still an unbroken chain. It can still pull a heavy load. It can still anchor a ship. The only thing that makes a chain useless is a gap. The perfectionist wants a chain made only of gold. And because gold is rare, their chain is short and full of holes. You are building an infinite chain. You don't care what the link is made of, as long as it connects to tomorrow. The boredom of greatness. We need to talk about the middle. The beginning of a journey is exciting. The end is satisfying. But the middle? The middle is boring. The middle is 10 years of eating chicken and broccoli. The middle is 10 years of saving 20% of your income. The middle is 10 years of writing every morning when nobody is reading. Success is the ability to do the same thing over and over again without losing enthusiasm. You will get bored. You will look for new strategies. You will look for hacks. Do not be seduced. The boredom is the filter. The boredom is what weeds out the amateurs. When you feel bored, realize that you are in the refining fire. You are hardening the iron. Fall in love with the boredom. The compound effect, the 10-year view. Why do we do this? Why do we suffer through the discipline? Because of the compound effect. In the short term, 1 year, the difference between never missed twice and mostly consistent is small. But over 10 years, the gap is the Grand Canyon. Person A, inconsistent. Works out sporadically. Misses months at a time. Result after 10 years. Still struggling with the same 20 pounds. Knees hurt. Energy is low. Person B, never missed twice. Never lets a slip turn into a slide. Result after 10 years. Metabolically 10 years younger. Strong bones. Clear mind. Massive energy. The difference isn't linear. It is exponential. You are investing in your future biology. You are investing in your future freedom. The person you will be in 20 years is begging you not to quit today. The legacy of consistency. Let's look outside yourself. This is not just about you. If you have children or employees or friends, they are watching you. They don't listen to what you say. They watch what you do. If you tell your kids to work hard, but they see you quit every time things get tough, they will learn to quit. But if they see you fail, slip, and get back up the next day, they learn resilience. I remember my father. He wasn't perfect. He had a temper. He made mistakes. But every single morning at 6 a.m., his boots were on the floor. He went to work. He never missed twice. That silent example taught me more about manhood than any lecture he ever gave. You are the standard bearer for your tribe. If you hold the line, you make it easier for them to hold the line. If you break, you give them permission to break. Do not break. The final protocol. The life contract. We need to seal this. You need to make a contract with yourself. Not for a month. Not for a year. for life. The terms of the contract. I accept that I am human. I will stumble, I will fall, I will make mistakes. I reject the identity of the victim. I will not wallow in shame. I will not blame the world. I commit to the recovery. My priority is not perfection, but the speed of my return. I will never miss twice. One miss is an accident. 2 misses is a choice. I do not choose failure. Sign it in your mind. Brand it on your heart. The departure. We are done here. I have given you the tools. I have given you the psychology. I have given you the permission to be imperfect. But I cannot do the rep for you. I cannot put the fork down for you. I cannot wake up for you. The book is closing. The narrator is stopping. The silence is returning. In that silence, you will face the resistance. It will whisper to you, just this once. It doesn't matter. Start tomorrow. When you hear that whisper, I want you to smile. I want you to remember the gold, the iron, and the rust. I want you to remember the chain. Add a link. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just don't break the chain. You are unstoppable. Not because you never fail, but because you never stop starting. Go.